Part 40. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 391. Hello, yes, it is recommended that low-dimensional beings not look at high-dimensional beings, otherwise you will have the illusion of being in harmony. Fortunately, we are far away now, and this live broadcast room is quite special, so you have not yet joined the path. Hideo, great. Yes, she snapped and turned off the camera in the live broadcast room, leaving only the sound. Wait until I see how this should be broadcast live. You can't continue watching. If you continue watching, the work of the underworld will increase again. His voice came from the dark live broadcast room. It looked like he was tinkering with something. Soon, the live broadcast room lit up. It's just that compared with before, the current lens seems to have an extra layer of gray filter. After solving the impact on the audience, Yeshi restarted the system. At the same time, his voice also sounded. What you see before is the real high-dimensional life. The reason for the emergence of the entire dragon dimension. Because he is hovering in this place naturally has dimensions, which means everything we see. The true origin of the dimension is itself a dimension. I don't dare to come into contact with this kind of existence, let alone you. When the effects of the dream and dragon and snake disappeared, many people slowly recovered their sanity. Although their sanity was restored, when they thought of what happened before, what they felt was not embarrassment, but surprise. Why do I feel nothing? My condition is surprisingly good. Yes, nothing happened to me either. Anonymous, I suggest the anchor not to engage in protection next time. Let's see how many people die. Don't worry about how many people die, I'll bring them back one by one. I just want to see how they don't know what to say. Does it represent a dimension in itself? Has anyone thought of the same thing as me, Dormadol? Sorry, you should be talking about Dormammu. Let me tell you, this life really exists. I have just communicated with it. If you want to go, I can take you for a ride. Kick the doorframe. I just discovered that Yeshen's live broadcast room is full of big guys, and why are these big guys so approachable? I thought many big guys had the feeling of being ruthless, but why are they more playful than us now? If you are already a cultivator, don't worry about Darwin or the law of the dark forest. Yes, she looked at the live broadcast room and the corners of his eyes twitched. Damn it, after he introduced it for so long, these people just listened to the two words in it, right? Although he was a little speechless at these big guys who suddenly came out to steal the limelight, yes, she continued to introduce them. I don't know the specific name of this dragon snake, but I know a little bit about what happened to it. He probably didn't want to sleep here, but was forced to. People who have been watching the live broadcast should have the impression of seeing a dream-like tale that gathers all the beautiful things in the world. What you see is not the true appearance of this dragon and snake. Strictly speaking, it is this dream-like thing that caused him to sleep here for a long time. It should be that he encountered some god, or something with a dream, and then was forced to be trapped in the dreamland, unable to wake up, which led to the formation of this dimension. And that dreamy tale is just contaminated with some aura leaked from his dream. It seems like I heard everything, but also like I didn't understand anything. Dream, I feel a little bit familiar. Do you still remember the secret realm of the kettle? I originally thought it was a kettle, but after entering it, I found it was a fairy tale world. Now that Lao Ye mentioned it, I remembered it. The fairy tale world is very similar to what I saw. Jin Mobe, yes, I also noticed what you said. I am now playing the live broadcast of pulling the kettle. Yes, it feels exactly the same, but that beautiful feeling was not so heavy at that time. Looks like I need to take a look at the live broadcast before the live broadcast. I didn't expect there to be such an interesting live broadcast fantasy. Yes, this is the dream authority from God. Yes, she looked at the live broadcast room and saw that many ids suddenly appeared in the live broadcast room for the first time. In a few words, these ids were able to analyze the dream power of this dragon snake and the fact that he also had dream power. Sure enough, I like to say that the water is deep in other places every day, but it turns out that the place with the deepest water is my live broadcast room. Especially what Tongza said before, those powerful people can take the initiative to access my live broadcast room. At that time, I didn't care much about this matter. Now it seems that I really should take a closer look at the live broadcast room. What kind of boss is hidden inside? Tongzi, count all the ads that you have accessed in the live broadcast room, and send them to me when the time comes. Ding, got it? After settling this matter, Yeshi looked at the snake tail again. Say to the camera. It's exactly what the big python said. There are many pythons guarding it. I don't want any conflict in this situation. After all, there is a big boss hanging here. So let's wait until the guards relax. After he said this, he turned to look at the big python that had been playing with the live broadcast room and asked, when will these big pythons guarding here leave? Want to change shifts? Take turns guarding here. Yeshi watched the big python post a post, and his language habits had quickly integrated into the internet. When he heard Yeshi's words, the big python jumped up in fright. Then he realized what Yeshi was asking and quickly answered. No, what are you guarding? Are you guarding things that are not snakes? There is no need to guard, they can't come out, and they don't dare to come out. The other snakes are just playing under the big tail. When they get tired of playing, they will leave. Then we can go over. Actually, if you are willing to wear my clothes, you can go there now. Yeshi looked at the big python and handed over the snake skin that he had shed, and shook his head firmly. No, let's wait. This wait is a long time. How long it will take depends on the time of Blue Star. 10 days and 10 nights? These snakes actually played under that big tail for 10 days and 10 nights. At the end of the wait, Yeshi took out a long fishing rod and started fishing on the spot. The viewers watching the live broadcast were also speechless and put the live broadcast room in the background. However, some of them were more interested in this dimension and chose to watch it again and again. Or go and relive Yeshi's previous live broadcast. After many people reviewed it, they discovered that a lot of Yeshi's information was actually told to everyone watching the live broadcast early. But no one reacted at the time, and he didn't explain too much. That made them all ignore it. After watching it again, these netizens found that all the information Yeshi said could be connected together. Someone had already drawn a star map based on these planets and the path Yeshi had traveled. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 392. Yeshi closed his pole and caught nothing. This sea of pythons was as barren as his world. Those big boa constrictors that were playing around were finally getting tired of playing and were ready to leave. Just before they go, Yeshi felt the strange looks from them. These strange looks made Yeshi want to ask on the spot what these big pythons were thinking. But he didn't move in the end. He just looked at the live broadcast room and said something unexpected. Although it's a bit late to tell now. But I do have to say something. Are these big pythons watching my live broadcast too? It's not surprising that Yeshi felt this way, it was because these looks were too weird, so weird that he didn't think anything of it. But one thing to say, the average boa constrictor shouldn't be interested in this live broadcast, right? Who in the right mind watches the live broadcast? Ha 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 brother, yeah, finally thought of this problem after fishing for 10 days. I thought of it at the beginning, but I was too embarrassed to say it. This wave, what does this wave mean? 3 cobblers rival Zuchel Yang. I think this is pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. What do you think? You are a pig, right? Why do you think you are a tiger? Who gave you this illusion, Bai Vuchame? No matter, it's not a very important thing. We can finally go under that big tail to see what the so-called prison is. And there's news I haven't told you yet. This sea of pythons should be the sea formed by the mucus dripping from this dragon snake. To be honest, I don't really want to get in. But, I am a dedicated explorer after all. Wait until I put on some equipment. After Yeshi finished speaking to the camera, he immediately tapped Tiangong, who was working hard in his world, and asked him to get him a suitable set of diving equipment. When Tiangong first heard this, he thought he hadn't woken up. He didn't understand until Yeshi gave him a complete description. This is not easy. You have to add materials. Ordinary materials can't resist this kind of existence, even if it's just the radiation around him. Fortunately, you have divine fire and ores here. Just wait and do it right away. Yeshi nodded and immediately accelerated the time in his world so that Tiangong could get it out quickly and he wouldn't have to wait too long. Okay, I'm wearing my gear. The next sentence Yeshi said about wearing equipment was immediately followed by the sentence, which made many people a little dumbfounded. Your speed in wearing equipment is really rare. Alert, who are you scolding? It's so rare. Ellie, you two are a little too funny upstairs by the way, haven't you noticed the peculiarity of this equipment? I found out, that thing that looks like venom is on top again. What's going on? It's still haunting. My name is Orlando, not Venom. The equipment Yeshi was wearing spoke suddenly, which frightened the people watching the live broadcast. As for Yeshi, he let the python lead the way and followed it into the sea of pythons. Hiss. As soon as he entered the sea of pythons, Yeshi noticed strange sounds coming from his body, but he didn't care. It took a long time to swim, but there is no concept of time here. People watching the live broadcast almost forgot that there is time. This led to a series of things that needless to say. Looking from above, although the Sea of Boa is indeed quite large, the space we enter is still very different. If I were walking forward at my current speed, I should have arrived already, but now, I've only walked half of the way. Remember this, the high-dimensional world, both time and space, is completely different from what we all know. Don't judge high-dimensional space based on your own common sense. Including what is now presented to us, this space-like thing, to a certain extent, I have now walked from one section of the universe to another, and the discontinuity of high-dimensional space has been reflected in the macroscopic world, it's just that it can't be well reflected in the live broadcast room. I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it, my brain has been robbed. Robbery. Robbed. That's a good point, but there's no need to say it like that next time. Tomcat, you'd better think about what you are talking about. As for obtaining this kind of information, you know that it can be obtained so cheaply from little Poseidon, otherwise, even a civilization will not be able to obtain it. All the information in it is its knowledge, be happy for that, mortals. Of course, I have a complete set of treatments here, Q1 I will send to your mind. One, give me one. Yeshi looked at the live broadcast room and was really convinced by this profiteer, but he also silently asked a one, and the sharp eyes were caught by netizens. Not only that, Tomcat also claimed that he was not responsible for this incident, and emphasized that this call was for mortals, and he hoped that non-human beings would stay away. The entire live broadcast room was filled with a happy atmosphere. And Yeshi also saw the prison. Ding, congratulations to the host for improving the map of the dragon dimension by 20%, and the overall progress is now 35%. Ding, congratulations to the host for unlocking the second puzzle of the dragon dimension. The reward is Dharma Hook X1, Brahma Sea Bundle X1, Impermanence Flag X2, Rootless Dragon Rain X10 Secrets, Dragon Dimension Map Illustrated, Prison in the Sea, 7 Holy Emperor Demons. Dragon Dimension Atlas, Sea Prison, 7 Holy Emperor Demons. Sea Prison, the coordinates of the Dragon Dimension are extremely easy to obtain compared to other dimensions. Therefore, many lives have rushed here one after another, but it is obvious that these lives are not as strong as they imagined. However, the truly weak lives were assimilated into the dragons at the beginning, and the sea prison was a prison they built spontaneously in order to avoid being assimilated and not fighting with the dragons again. 7 Holy Emperor Demons. This is the powerful demon who left behind the Ruyi Pearl. He is named Saint and Emperor, which is very obvious. Of course, it can't bear the consequences of this name, but it has a lot of treasures, very many, especially many. It is known as the multi-treasure monster among the monsters. Faxing Go, the magic weapon of the 7 Saints Emperor monsters, it has an extremely important auxiliary role in cultivation, and can connect people's dharma nature. Even people with mediocre talents can use it to shout, 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West, don't bully the poor young people, and become the protagonist in the novel. Brahma C bundle, 1 as above. But the effect is not used, nothing can be tied, even Brahma C is the same. Wuchang flag, as above, quietly remind, black and white Wuchang will like these 2 flags very much. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Pian Hai. Chapter 393. This time the system's rewards and reminders are much less than last time. But Yeshi didn't care very much, because he had already captured the most important point, the 7 Saint Emperor demon. I bumped into this multi-treasure demon. It's really my luck. Tongzi, what do you think? Ding, heroes see the same thing. The words you use these days are becoming more and more humane. Tell me, is there an old monster behind you? Ding, Tongzi is just an ordinary system. Please don't use metaphors, rhetorical questions, hints, and other rhetorical questions. Yeshi glanced at the system in his conscious space and smiled. He originally planned to say something, but in the end he said nothing. Let's go in. Yeshi looked at the big python next to him. The boa constrictor was just as determined this time as it was last time. No, I'm afraid. I won't go. You can go. I'll just watch your live broadcast. Yeshi. Are you watching the live broadcast? A friendly reminder, if you can't beat brother yet, don't say such things. I am Snake, don't you say that we should convince others with reason and virtue? It is a basic human behavior to say one thing but actually do another. Oh, you are not a human, so no, wait, there are also many non-human creatures in Brother Yes live broadcast room and platform like this. You haven't learned enough yet. After so many menstruation sessions, the result is like this. Why not start again and give your body to me, and my body to you? Nameless? No, why are there so many perverts in this live broadcast room? It's not like me, I'm the most normal. I am God. I have been struck by lightning and still have the nerve to say that I am normal. If you are considered normal, then brother Yes should be a human being. Yeshi, is there anyone who curses like this? Yeshi just took a look at Big Boa Constrictor's live broadcast room, and what the hell, did he see these people slandering him like this? He immediately posted this barrage in the live broadcast room. This immediately made the atmosphere in the entire live broadcast room extremely lively. I was laughing so hard, the real owner caught me talking bad about people, right? Don't worry, she is God, she will take action. Yeshi was really dizzy when he saw these barrages. But there was still a prison waiting for him to explore. Yeshi didn't have to take the python in there because he was following his example online. I simply went in alone. But after entering, his tone couldn't help but feel a little depressed. Every time I explore, I am alone. Alas, I really miss the time when everyone explores together. Brother, can you wake up? When did you explore with others? It shouldn't be with Laohu and the others. No one dares to go to your place. Next time find a place where everyone dares to go. That's all I'm saying. If you really come, I will have to try my best to see that you don't die. Forget it, it's better not to come. But what you said gave me some ideas. If I really plan to explore with others, I can find some people who are already dead, so I don't have to worry about them dying again. You don't say a word of human language, but it's okay, it's not important, you're not human anyway. Yes, she has already entered the prison. To be honest, yes, she really didn't want to call this place a prison. He had never seen such a luxurious prison. Compared with this place, the sun prison he had been to was just like shabby. If the system and the python hadn't told him in advance that this thing was an undersea prison. Yes, she really felt that this heaven and earth came from nowhere. I only saw. The clouds are steaming and the clouds are awe-inspiring, and the spiritual energy turns into pearls. The spiritual energy that seeps out from the door of this prison has turned into spiritual energy beads. It makes people even more curious about what it looks like inside. More than that, the entire prison is also very luxuriously decorated. The top part is made of precious jade. Every piece of the prison is full of immortal energy, and the strands of it are escaping, making people feel like they are immortals when they take a breath. The purple air is dense, and thousands of auspicious colors are falling down, like a beautiful waterfall. It is very eye-catching, and people can tell at a glance that this place is extraordinary. All this can only mean that what is ahead is a Xianjia cave, a very expensive Xianjia cave. But when the scene is pulled out and the entire dimension is seen, everyone can realize how expensive it is. The dragon dimension will assimilate everything that is not a dragon, including spiritual energy. So this prison in the sea is being assimilated every moment. However, its appearance has basically not changed at all. What does this mean? This shows that in the prison, new gems, new spiritual jade, new spiritual energy, and new immortal energy are being produced all the time. Therefore, even if it is assimilated, it can still be maintained. Yes, she even took a breath of air. The initial complacency over moving Gamma My4 star disappeared in an instant. He thought he was so rich, but looking at the big guy in front of him, every corner was really full of money. This is not a currency like paper money. It is the hard currency in all the worlds. There is such a rich demon in this dimension. Yes, she thought of the Ruyi pearl. He would let the system store these things first, and then look at them after the exploration was completed. But now, the curiosity level in his heart about this multi-treasure demon has been raised to the highest level. Damn, did I see the god of wealth? Actually, I am not very sensitive to wealth, especially since this is not Blue Star anymore, but how should I put it, I believe that anyone with eyes can see how rich this place is when they see the god of wealth in front of them. No, 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 even people without eyes can sense it. I am about to be overwhelmed by the money. Why can't I even tell how expensive these things are when they are in different dimensions, but I just think they are so expensive, so expensive, so expensive. You call this a prison, then what do I live in? A toilet. Friends, brothers, the thing people fear most is to humiliate themselves. You know what I mean, right? You call your home a toilet, don't you even consider whether it is worthy of it? In the live broadcast room, there was a slight unification. Everyone was amazed at the luxury of this prison. Although the words used are very rustic, the fact is that this is what you can see at a glance: rich. We have to find a way to get this Tuobeo monster to go with me. It's not a good idea to stay in this place forever. It's not good for my friend. I've always been a person who does good things. I haven't done one good deed a day yet. Why don't I take my friend away from the dragon dimension? I'm really a good person. Yashi blinked his eyes, and in an instant, he had already regarded this monster as his friend. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 394. Yashi took a good look at this prison that was most unlike a prison outside. By the way, I complained to some netizens before I walked in. Before walking in, the last thing I said was, "You call this a prison? Let's go in and take a closer look at what kind of prison this is." I just saw Jun give me a look. I said, "It's impossible, it's just us who think it's outrageous. Take a look, yes or no?" I have some ideas, 100 million points, and I am curious about who lives in it, and who is worthy of such a rich-looking prison. Rigorous and rigorous. How many times have I said, be rigorous? How dare you assume that the other person is a human being? Use your 3-inch brain to think about it carefully. After Yeshi walked in, he felt that his body was glowing. A very high-level energy invaded his body. Although it was not malicious, it made Yeshi feel weird. After careful inspection, I discovered that because the energy inside is so rich, it is simply a large energy mine, causing some of the energy to directly become essence, which is what Yeshi finds strange. And when Yeshi sensed this, his expression, "Oh, this prison is outrageous. This is the first time I've seen energy become sperm." Yeshi fumbled around and grabbed a very small elf in front of him. This is not the same thing as those elemental elves? I have lived so long, traveled so many places in this life, and this is the first time I have seen the energy of becoming a spirit. Incredible, incredible. To use an inappropriate analogy, it's like the air has become essence, it's like the oxygen has become essence. Oh, no, oxygen is more reliable than energy. I really saw a ghost. The intensity of energy in this prison has far exceeded that of the dragon dimension. Even if it is heaven, I don't know if there is such a place. Even if there is, there won't be many. My Kunlun sacred tree also absorbs energy every day. It can be said that the energy in my world is only increasing and not decreasing, but it is far from what it is here. It's so outrageous. After Yeshi sighed for a long time, he silently added something in his heart. It's so outrageous that I want to move this place away. No, even if you can't take away the multi-treasure demon, you still have to rob it properly. I have never seen such a big dog owner. Speaking of what the opponent's strength is, he shouldn't be stronger than me. That's good. It will save you from unsuccessful robbery. In the sky, spiritual light flickers, and the purple energy is vast and full of auspicious meaning. Thousands of waterfalls of spiritual energy fell down, the sound of the waves remained the same, and the silver light spread to the surrounding spiritual abyss. The bright starlight was brought down from somewhere, and all of it was sprinkled on a gurgling sacred spring, adding a divine light to the spring water. Golden surging vitality came from the front, and the waves were surrounded by fragrant elixirs. Each elixir is as green as emerald and as red marrow. It is crystal clear and shines brightly. It feels like the fragrance of the medicine is coming out through the live broadcast. The people watching were dazzled and dumbfounded, and tears flowed from their mouths unsatisfactorily. Oh my God, I thought it was scary enough outside, but I didn't expect that each mountain is higher than the other. This makes me really want to follow the network cable and steal all these things. I'm different. I've already planned to move in. This prison is lacking a person who speaks well and sounds like me. Don't stop me, I'm going to be a servant inside. Stop it, it's already in a different dimension. Why are you still doing it? If you say you should be a prisoner, you should be a prisoner, even if you miss a word. You really dare to say that I just want to be a stone inside? I suspect that being a stone will soon turn into a spirit. There was a lot of discussion in the live broadcast room. Yeshi didn't pay attention to watching the live broadcast room, but communicated with the system in various ways. Tongzi, look, based on your experience in the industry for so many years, do you think this is the biggest dog owner you have ever seen? Ding, first of all, I must solemnly declare that I don't have a long time of experience in this industry. Secondly, the biggest big dog owner I have ever seen is you, the host. I suggest you, the host, take a look at what your own world is like, and then look at this prison, you won't give in too much. Yeshi. You can shut up if you don't know how to speak. I'm so poor, how can I be compared with this big dog in front of me? Ding, let me tell you something. Although you are indeed poor, you still have a lot of good treasures in your hands. Especially one of them can suppress countless treasures. Yes, I am talking about the egg called Teishu. Okay, shut up. Yeshi no longer wanted to continue chatting with this system. I don't know what's been going on with Tongzu recently. I feel like she often chokes him without even saying a few words. He's completely different from the caring little cotton-padded jacket he used to be. I believe everyone has seen it. In short, everyone is looking forward to the lives in prison more and more, right? Whether you are looking forward to it or not, I am looking forward to it anyway. Let me take a look and see who it is that is actually as rich as a ball. Look for us too if we can beat him. I hope you, brother can help me beat him up. I can't stand guys who are richer than me. Plus, if he's not bad looking, help me beat him up too. I hate handsome and rich guys the most. If he's ugly, help me beat him up too. It's okay for him to be ugly but also richer than me. How can I survive? Golden-haired shell, first of all, the person inside may not be a person. Yeshi agreed with these comments. Indeed, he really wanted to beat up this Tuobeo monster. This prison looks like it has many connections, but there is actually a main line. As long as you follow the main line and go inside, you can reach the place where the prisoners are held. Yeshi looked and wrote down the things that looked good along the way. Unknowingly, he had reached the place where the prisoners were held. There are quite a lot of prisoners here. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 395. Indeed, some people in the live broadcast room are right, none of these prisoners are human beings. More than that, I'm living a really luxurious life. It's more comfortable than me. It feels like I haven't been in a hot spring for a long time. As soon as Yeshi came in, he saw various different beings serving a pangolin. Those who pinched their legs, those who handed fruits to others, and those who beat their shoulders. After watching this, Yeshi also wanted to build more housekeeping robots in his own world. I am dumbfounded. Has the demonic wind of capitalism blown into the dragon dimension? Let me go, I won't go to hell, and I want whoever goes to hell. This one, pangolin brother, eldest brother, have you discovered that I am your long-lost biological brother? A bird upstairs actually has a relationship with a pangolin. It's really true that the world is not ancient and people's hearts are getting worse. Brother, I am your brother, your dearest relative and friend. Brother is not watching the live broadcast. You have thrown your flirtatious glances at a blind man. Why don't you take it back quickly? Brother, look at me, I am your most loyal little brother. You can touch me. Priest Bad Tao, I have lived so long, and only in this live broadcast room have I met people who are as shameless as Pindeo. Compared with you, Pindeo is shameless. Oh, Pindeo, I'm sorry Baidu, let Baidu down. I think you are all trying to please the wrong person. Brother 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 Yeshi. Stop shouting. He was speechless when he saw the barrages shouting at him that suddenly appeared from below because of this barrage, and then he stopped them with a voice. And his voice naturally alerted the group of animals in front of him who were helping people bathe, as well as the pangolins who were soaking in Xuanhuan hot springs. Well, actually when he got here. Except for the pangolins, which enjoy everything with their eyes closed, no other life can be seen, but they are in a state of ignoring Yeshi. It's not a very important person, so there's no need to say hello. But when he opened his mouth to speak, the pangolin heard his voice, opened his eyes and looked at Yeshi. Therefore, the eyes of other creatures also looked at Yeshi. When the pangolin saw Yeshi, it only moved its body slightly. It raised its body a little and didn't care about anything else. Human race, Why can't you think of coming to this place? You found it after asking those snakes, right? Find a place to live, I beg you. Don't worry about anything here. The assimilation power from the outside dimension will not affect here. But everything here belongs to me. In addition to finding a place to live, if you want to practice, you have to do things for me. I'll see if there is anything else I can do for you. It seems like nothing, forget it. Make me a cup of tea. The pangolin opened its mouth and said these words without stopping. Yeshi was stunned when he said this, and none of the manuscripts he originally typed were useful. Who can tell him? Why is a name so powerful and domineering, 7 holy emperor demons, a pangolin? Of course, Yeshi is not discriminating against pangolins. But seeing the other person looking so lazy. Yeshi. 7 holy emperor demons. The pangolin was stunned, and stood up from the hot spring with eyes wide open. It's me, how do you know my name? Has my name spread so far, to the ears of the human race, to different dimensions? Yes, it's me, I am the 7 Saint Emperor Demon. Did you come to me specifically? After the pangolin got up from the hot spring, it took a serious look at Yeshi, looking at it from top to bottom. Yeshi had the feeling of being spied on several times. It must be that the pangolin in front of him used some treasure. Brother, yes, look at me, how did I know that? There is a word that I haven't said for a long time, let me tell you about it, ancient books. Well, I heard that the big python in this dimension remembers you. The pangolin stood up and planned to make a cup of tea by himself, but soon stopped because another loser came to help. Remember me, are you kidding? These dragons won't remember me at all, they will remember my treasure, and I have never told these big pythons my name. It took a sip of tea and looked at Yeshi strangely. Seeing this, Yeshi shrugged. Maybe I remembered it wrong. Now that I think about it, I seem to have seen your records in some ancient book. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I am an explorer. What I like most is to explore different worlds and solve the mysteries of the world. I should have seen records about you when I went exploring outside. But that's not important. Yeshi spoke very easily. The barrage in the live broadcast room was already full of laughter. Even those who helped make tea and rub shoulders looked at Yeshi strangely. However, the pangolin nodded, completely understanding Yeshi's reason. Oh, it's in the ancient book. It's really possible. After all, it's hard for people who have seen me to forget my heroic appearance. Yeshi rarely expresses his approval, but now he nodded very sincerely. Indeed, even before I walked in, I felt that this experience was something I would never forget. We agreed to fight, why are we suddenly chatting so happily? I can't help it, I gave you too much. I am not such a person. You are really good at judging people. The pangolin handed Yeshi a cup of tea. Yeshi accepted it happily, and then the system reminded him that this was the only one enlightenment tea leaf in the entire universe. While making Yeshi's eyes twitch, he even wanted to fool the pangolin in front of him away. He took a sip and felt refreshed. The energy flow in his body became faster and more energetic, as if the circulation was accelerated. Not just that. Yeshi was really close to enlightenment, and he didn't know why 2 Teishu eggs appeared in front of his eyes. However, these anomalies were quickly suppressed by Yeshi. He took another sip of the enlightenment tea, then smacked his tongue, looked at the pangolin, and said sincerely at the same time in his tone, expression, and micro-expression. You know, I am an explorer, so I am very interested in the mysteries of the world and various adventure stories. Can you tell me how you came to the dragon dimension? I will collect some materials and write you a story based on you. It just so happens that I have readers from 16 worlds. Let them appreciate your legendary past together when the time comes. Tomcat, hey, is there anyone? I picked up a face on the ground. Does anyone know whose face this is? Ding, this user has been banned by Kraken for 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes, could it be, maybe. Bold. In fact, it's what you think, but as long as we know it in our hearts, don't say it out loud. Speaking of which, I really didn't expect this move. When did our Yeshen have such a skill? I am God, just now. I'm very curious whether Brother Ye can really write. Don't tell me, I really want to read it. It feels like Lao Ye has illuminated some incredible skills, and his ability to deceive people is really increasing day by day. Golden Mouse, solemn reminder, the other party is not a human. The pangolin looked at Yeshi in shock. Okay. A voice came out. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 396. Can you still be so deceptive? No, can this be deceived successfully? It's okay for me to hum you. Kicks the door frame. Is it okay if you have sex with me? Why are the IQs of recent barrages getting lower and lower? Come on, if you can cross dimensions, I will call you daddy. Dad, I call you dad, I admit defeat. It's so funny that it's a sitcom. I'm so grateful to Brother Menzin for taking time out of his busy schedule to perform for us. Just treat it as a celebration of the holiday today. Everyone should be happy. So, is Lao Ye really planning to write a pangolin biography for pangolins? I hope I can write it all in one go and post it all in one go, so don't ask me to follow up on updates. Golden Mouse Shell, they call it the 7 Holy Emperor Demon, the 7 Saint Emperor Demon. Yeshi. Although he was reminded by the system, when he said this, he really meant Tuyul. But who knows? The order of development of things is often so casual. He mentioned it casually, and others responded casually. Tongzi, why do I think I can trick the other person into coming to my world? What do you think? Ding, in response to what the host has experienced, the system has made the following analysis. The fate and luck of the 7 Saint Emperor Demon are extraordinary. The more dangerous the place, the more adaptable it is. It is recommended that the host does not bring it to you. In your own world, instead of letting it graze outside and harvest a crop every once in a while, this is the optimal solution. You are really a born capitalist, but if you let it out, I'm worried that this pangolin will go somewhere without paying attention. If I don't know the location of the pangolin, won't I be blind? Ding. The system placed a mark on his body. In order to meet the host's requirements, this mark will never be discovered unless it is in front of Tianzun. This system has sacrificed a lot for this. Yeshi saw that a tracking interface suddenly appeared on the system panel. As soon as I entered, I saw the coordinates of the pangolin. He nodded with satisfaction. As for the misfortune of the system, Yeshi pretended not to see it. But he said. Because of what Yeshi said before. The pangolin became completely interested, causing the other beings to look at Yeshi with something wrong. You said that if you were going to write a story, at which point would you start? I think the beginning can start with me looking for a dragon. Good guy. This wave, a dreamy linkage. Do you know what Sunlong, tactical retreat, is? Could it be? Actually, it can't be, it's impossible, it must be. The pangolin turned out to be myself. Yeshi. Writing about looking for a dragon in the first place? Why are you looking for a dragon? The pangolin's response to Yeshi's question was subtle. Aren't you here to find the dragon? What you're asking is that basically all the non-dragon beings who come to this dimension are here to find the dragon, right? I think the beginning of the story starts with the 7 holy emperor demons looking for dragons. How about it? Doesn't it appeal to you the first time you hear it? As a result of the live broadcast, you perform to increase the dimension, is that so? Explore the mysteries of all realms, live broadcast the Dragon Dimension. Yeshi. It's very attractive, it is indeed very attractive. It seems that you know this dimension very well. You know, I am an explorer. In addition to looking for dragons, I also want to explore this dimension. After walking for a long time, I saw the dragon snake above, and then I saw you in the sea of pythons. Although I have traveled to many places in the dragon dimension, I still don't know much about this dimension. You can introduce this dimension to me first. Only when you have written the worldview can you write the story below. Seeing this, I am convinced of one thing, brother. Ye must have never written a novel. Generally, those of us who write novels know the plot 2 hours ahead of the readers. The worldview and plot are filled in while writing. That's you. At first glance, I look like a street writer, and so do I. Oh yes, Dragon Snake, yes, you saw him. It's a pity that he's not the dragon I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean? It's the kind of real dragon that has horns and claws, can soar in the clouds and mists, call the wind and rain, can be big or small, can appear or disappear. Yeshi touched the crystal horns of the little chi dragon in his arms. It felt good, so he nodded. Understood, continue talking. Ha 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 ha, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your discussion, but why is it so funny? I remember brother Ye didn't seem to take back the 2 dragons he raised. They should be in his arms. Poor pangolins, the real dragons are far away in the sky and right in front of you. You don't know the dragons on the other side, so you have to run through different dimensions to find. The pangolin nodded. As if he and Yeshi had a common language, he spoke more energetically. I came here just to find the real dragon. When I was searching in different worlds, I learned about the dragon dimension from a small official in heaven. I was very excited at the time. I felt that the great achievements of our family were in me. It was about to end, so after getting the dimensional coordinates, I started to traverse the dimensions. But I didn't expect that crossing the dimension is too dangerous. Even if I was prepared, it was far beyond my expectation. If I hadn't carried too many treasures, I would have died crossing the dimension. Passed through the gap between dimensions. Well, you said it, I'm listening. After I really came to the dragon dimension, I realized that I was deceived. This is clearly the Python dimension. The life consciousness it breeds is the dragons mentioned by the bald guy, and it has a great relationship with the heavenly dragons. At that time, I didn't have enough magic weapons to leave, so I could only enter this dimension. After entering the dimension, the difficulties just began. Although there are no real dragons in this dimension, there is an existence lying on the dimension, so that this dimension originally exists because of him. I was forced to lose many magic weapons, but I also learned the truth of this dimension from them. Do you know the authority of God? Yes, she did listen very seriously, but the pangolin on the opposite side suddenly said this, which still scared him a lot. He almost thought he was being played by a pig and eaten by a tiger. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white-bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 397. Although Yeshi was a little surprised, he calmed down faster, so fast that no one except a few people noticed his surprise for that second. I know God's natural authority. I have encountered this kind of God during my exploration. This kind of God is completely different from the priesthood canonized by heaven. It seems that heaven cannot deal with this kind of God, right? The pangolin glanced at Yeshi in surprise. It seems that you are indeed an explorer and have been to many places. Yes, heaven has been chasing this kind of God. Wherever there is heaven, this kind of God has become extinct. Although gods have disappeared, the authority they hold has not disappeared. Instead, they are scattered in every corner of the world. Unfortunately, the authority in my hands only has a few small authorities, such as the terrifying authority of dreams. I can't find it at all. I learned something incredible. Although I've known it before, It's really extraordinary this time. Dream, kettle, fairy tale world, Snow White, thorn tree, my memory suddenly revived. Ranyun is me, how come you all know so much? We are all ordinary people, can you stop pretending and acting? I take it seriously, I am the only one among 18 billion humans who has not become a god, right? Yes, please log out automatically, you still have one last minute, countdown is 60 seconds, 59, 58. Tomcat, the little Poseidon has the power of dreams in his hands, so, actually compared to this pangolin, the little Poseidon is more like Tuobeojun. It's a pity that I didn't even have a hair left of my, or the planets have all been moved. Yeshi nodded, not saying that he had 2 dream powers. Anyway, he hadn't collected them all yet. Indeed, I also find it difficult. Okay, you can continue talking. The pangolin didn't realize how perfunctory Yeshi's words were, so he continued talking. You can also see it. The power of dreams is related to this dragon and snake. And this dream authority is to suppress this dragon and snake, not the authority to control it. Didn't I say it before? This dragon dimension has a lot to do with the 8 heavenly dragons of Buddhism, and the power of dreams is also related to Buddhism. Yeshi felt that asking about this pangolin was the most correct move he had ever made. Seeing his exploration progress bar rising, Yeshi felt very satisfied, and then he made himself a pot of enlightenment tea. Of course, all the things used belong to the pangolin in front of me. However, after making it, he still poured a cup of tea to the pangolin, which seemed very considerate. As for the fact that he drank several cups of enlightenment tea in a row, he didn't mention it for the time being. I know that this dimension is related to Buddhism, but I don't know that dream authority is related to them. Then, continue talking. The more the pangolin talked, the more excited he became. Looking at Yeshi in front of him, he felt that he finally had a confidant in his life. Before, when it told others about something like this, everyone told it not to talk about it anymore and didn't want to hear it, but it wasn't like Yeshi, who had to praise it, not to mention how happy it felt. The 8 heavenly dragons, this is a well-known thing, there is no need for me to say too much. Anyway, these are all related to Buddhism. Alegyo, I know you are not well known, you are little known, so at Duniang. Duniang, Babu Tianlong generally refers to the 8 divisions of Tianlong. The 8 heavenly dragons, in Buddhist terminology, are all non-humans, including 8 kinds of Shinto monsters. Because the gods and dragons are the most important, they are called the 8 heavenly dragons. The 8 divisions include 1 Day, 2 dragons, 3 yakshas, 4 gandharvas, 5 asuras, 6 garudas, 7 kinara, and Bamahoraga. Dragon snakes themselves have no attributes of Buddha, so why did this dimension of dragons become a dimension of dragons? It's because of the involvement of Buddhism. I heard that it was a great war and the dragons were all wiped out. These bald guys used their brains and planned to artificially create dragons. But how can dragons be so easy to create? So they set their sights on this dragon snake, seduced it with the power of dreams, and then completely trapped its body and consciousness in the dream, and then it became the dragon dimension we are in now. Every once in a while, a group of bald men will come here and take away some dragons. Originally, even if the dragon snake evolved into a dimension, the life and world it gave birth to should not be like this, but now, you have also seen it. I have to tell you the most important thing. I now know where the dream power used by Buddhism to seduce this dragon and snake lies. You can write all these things in your book. Just send me a copy when the time comes. Yeshi had long been shocked by the huge amount of information, especially when the pangolin talked about the place of dream authority, his eyes even lit up. Then it was forcibly extinguished. As for the book pangolin was talking about later, Yeshi didn't realize what he was talking about for a moment. After blinking his eyes, he nodded solemnly. Okay, don't worry, I will definitely write it to you. It seems you don't like Buddhism. A bald man yelled. Yeshi didn't say this. The pangolin seemed to be stimulated to a sore spot. Yes, I don't like it. When I was young, a little bald man chased me for 10 miles in order to roast and eat me alive. If I hadn't been so strong as a child, you wouldn't be able to see me now. What else did that little bald man say? After the wine and meat passed through his intestines, it remained in the heart of the Buddha. At that time, I secretly swore that I would go to Zishan to report this little bald man's condition. Unfortunately, it seems that Zishan was also blown up not long after. Yeshi. He silently dunked a 6. So where are the coordinates of the Dream Authority? The pangolin ate a blood bird-like spiritual object and handed a portion to Yeshi. You'd better not go to that place. It seems to be near Mount Sumeru, not far from Lingshan Zishan. There are corpses of bald men everywhere. Very dangerous. The wave of bombings in the West was so terrifying that the entire Buddhism was directly destroyed. I heard it's the same as Heaven's explosion, but Heavens realized that they couldn't continue like this, so my fall was more powerful. A response to any request. Yeshi said this word hesitantly. The pangolin took a breath and tried to cover Yeshi's mouth, but found that his mouth was inside the armor, so he gave up. How do you know this? Yeshi pondered for a while, looked into the pangolin's eyes and said sincerely. Seen in ancient books and classics. You know, I'm an explorer. I've been to many places and read many books about different worlds, so it's not surprising to know this. The pangolin shook his head. No, no one dares to record this kind of thing in a book. Everyone just passes it on by word of mouth. Well, maybe I haven't been to as many worlds as you. After all, you are an explorer. By the way, have you ever found a true dragon in so many worlds? Well, a new reason emerged. After all, I am an explorer. Tai Shanglajun, why don't I know what ancient books are there? 1,000 miles away, why did the pangolin's expression change so quickly after Lao Ye said the words response to all requests, red, green, and purple? It's even more outrageous than the face changing in Sichuan opera. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white-boned dragon pond. Author, Wo Yu Pian Hai. Chapter 398. Yeshi nodded slightly. I found it, but there is actually no need to look for it, because there is a real dragon in my home planet. I found it by accident while exploring my home planet. If you want to know more, I can take you to my home planet when I go back. Yeshi drew another pie without hesitation, silently leaving a circle for the multi-talented pangolin in front of him, waiting for it to jump in. Okay, okay. The pangolin actually responded without hearing what Yeshi said clearly. After all, it had no superfluous illusions. It has traversed so many worlds and even traversed dimensions, but it has not found a single trace of the true dragon. When it did, it had despaired of leaving this ancestral wish behind. I can't even think of killing it. I just met an ordinary explorer in an ordinary dimension, and chatted with him based on the idea that boredom was boring, but the other person told me about the real dragon? This is equivalent to walking on the road and asking a beggar where the emperor is, and the beggar says that he is the emperor. Yeshi didn't know that he had been treated as a beggar. But even if you know it, it won't be a big deal. One thing is that in front of this multi-treasure beast, everyone is like a beggar. After the pangolin learned the news about the real dragon, its first reaction was not happiness, but disbelief. Impossible, how is it possible? I didn't find the real dragon, only the dragons. How did you find it? Is there anyone in the world who is more lucky than me? This is impossible. At the end of the day, this pangolin looked ferocious. These soliloquies reached everyone's ears, and naturally also reached the ears of netizens in the live broadcast room. At this time, let me cosplay this pangolin's thoughts. Can you sleep? Can you sleep? I can't sleep. There are people in this world who are luckier, richer, than me. Why, possible. Aaleguo, It was only after I was touched by this pangolin that I suddenly realized that the real multi-treasure basin was right in front of us, and we were still looking at it. No wonder Brother Ye emphasizes that he is an ordinary person and an ordinary explorer every day over and over again. I have been brainwashed into thinking that I am really an ordinary blue star person. But, after all, it is because God is too kind to it. A life that has been blessed by heaven and earth since birth cannot be evil, because it can naturally get whatever it wants, and the journey will be smooth and smooth. Prophet is beloved by Zhongtian and Di. At best, it makes you naive. So after looking ferocious for a while, the pangolin returned to normal, but the flame of ambition that had been dormant for a long time started to burn again. It decided to go out, hunt for more treasures, and improve its strength at the same time. Okay, let's go to your home planet right away. By the way, you are a human being. You should have a name. It doesn't matter if your real name is known by other beings, right? Yes, she nodded. I poured myself another cup of enlightenment tea, and gathered as much wool as I could. Yeshi, my name is Yeshi. Don't worry about the home planet. You can continue talking. I am very interested in what happened to you and those wonderful legends. After saying this, he leaned back on the chair behind him, stretched out his hand and called a little demon to come over and give him a squeeze on his shoulders, and then asked the pangolin to get some more enlightenment tea. Not only was it very comfortable, but it was also a success as a guest. After all, Yao, who had a smooth journey, and Yeshi, whose achievements today were all due to his own efforts, were not in the same rank. Tomcat, why is it so easy to fool? I want to go see it, but it's a pity that this dimension, oh, forget it, this dimension will be given to the little Poseidon. Yang Xuanhuan, it should be said that for the beings that exist equally with this pangolin, it is very easy to fool, that is, making friends, but for us, it is not. Don't watch God's live broadcast and think that you are God. Lao Hu, a lot of things like this have happened recently. They all belong to people who have no points for themselves and don't look at how many divine treasures they have opened. Maybe Lao Ye behaves too much like a human being, which is why you have the idea of me. I also have the illusion that I can do it. Virtuous Taoist priest, I am just playing around, but you risk your life, why bother? The topic at the back of the live broadcast room gradually turned serious. But yes, she didn't care. It should be said that he had completely forgotten his audience. Now all his energy was used to make friends with the pangolin in front of him. Although he lacked nothing, he felt very happy as he saw more and more things in his collection. The most mysterious thing about the dragon dimension we are in is the dragon snake that created the entire dimension. However, I don't know much about this dragon snake. I only know that if it is assimilated into a python by the dimension and him, the original wisdom will be obscured and then gradually disappear, and the new consciousness that will emerge is the consciousness of the dragons. This is why I don't want to be assimilated. In this dimension, except for the dragons in the dimension itself, most of them are outsiders who have been here for a long time. Every outsider who can travel through the dimension to get here is very powerful. For example, I am the strongest big. The pangolin boasted about himself. Yeshi ate a few ginseng fruits and drank a sip of enlightenment tea. The little demon who was massaging his shoulders continued. He felt that his muscles and bones were relaxed. So Yeshi nodded. Indeed, then what? I have been in this dimension for a long time. I have observed the phenomena of the entire dimension out of curiosity. This dimension is a semi-finished product. There is no time, no space, no sky, no earth, and no life. In general, the world will evolve in the dimension, but this dimension is different. But because of this, it will be much easier to control this dimension. Those Buddhists used this method to control it and transformed it into the world of dragons in the 8 heavenly dragons. You know, dragons and snakes have a strong dream-like aura, and the dream power can transform into everything imaginable. Buddhists created dragons through the dream power and the bodies of dragons and snakes. Are you interested in doing a job? I think you are quite capable and can rely on your own strength to avoid being assimilated. You are only a little weaker than me. Don't worry, I have no interest in this latitude. When the time comes, everything will belong to you. I am just happy to think of those bald donkeys getting angry. What living bodhisattva? Bold, how can our 7 holy emperors be bodhisattvas? Heretic, drag them away. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white bone dragon pond. Author, Xuanhuan Hai. Chapter 399. Yashi thought for a while, thinking about the scenery he had copied and pasted along the way, as well as such a big snake tail. So he shook his head firmly. I'm not interested either. Change. This firm tone made the system look at him with suspicion. But at this moment, Yashi not only forgot the audience, but also forgot his own heritage. He is now addicted to enlightenment tea and the ginseng fruit next to it. This is real ginseng fruit. Yashi also threw a ginseng fruit to the little elang he raised. Unfortunately, this fruit can only be eaten, not grown. Generally, there is only one such divine root in the world or even in the universe. It is absolutely impossible to grow one of your own before the other one dies, except of course, the mother of pearl tree, which can divide itself. But even so, the flat peach tree is still the only one. Yashi has always longed for this kind of divine root of heaven and earth. After all, there is only one Jianmu tree in his world and there are no other yarns. It is just now that he can ask other gods about their origins. In this case, there is no point in taking away this dimension of dragons. They are dragons in Buddhism. Apart from this, there is nothing to explore in this dimension. We can leave now. So, this exploration is over. I also want to see the true nature of dragon and snake. Stop watching, you will go to hell if you continue to watch. You have said so much, but you haven't listened to a word, right? Look at your ID upstairs. As if I didn't say it. Who knows? Yashi continued to shake his head. No, let's go to the place you mentioned. I'm interested in things that involve the nature of the world. Tomcat, come on, I want to see it too. Then, the other beings present who had entered the dragon dimension and had not yet been assimilated were dumbfounded. Yashi directly kidnapped their big sponsor. What about them? Yashi looked at the pangolin and was about to leave. He almost didn't pack anything, but only took away some things placed near it. The corner of Yashi's mouth twitched as he looked at it. This big dog is somewhat speechless. But it's okay. The system will take action. So Yashi left with the pangolin. As for the other lives, they each held some cherished treasures and materials in the prison. Yashi closed their consciousness and bodies and threw them into their own world, and then threw them out after leaving the dimension. With his current abilities, there is really no way to send them back to their respective worlds, but it is still possible to send them to the dragon dimension. Just after doing this, Yashi discovered this dimension puts more pressure on him. Even after a period of adaptation, Yashi was still aroused to react in an instant under this more intense attack. After entering this dimension, he used his own world to fight against the assimilation of the dimension for a period of time. After that, the world did not appear, and it did not mean that he did not need the power of the world to confront each other. Instead, it disappeared behind him. However, now, the world that had been hidden gradually appeared behind him. After stepping out of that prison, the pressure came swarming. The energy that burst out from Yashi's body was fighting against the assimilation power of the dimensions. But the pangolin's performance was a bit unbearable. It screamed in pain, and a dazzling array of magic weapons exuding powerful aura were thrown out one after another, and then they were quickly assimilated into the dragon dimensions. It wasn't until later that he took out a mirror with a distressed look on his face. The Beifang mirror resisted the power of the 8 directions, and then he managed to maintain himself under the assimilation power of the dragon dimensions and the pressure of the dragon and snake. Despite this, it still panted desperately, and the cold sweat fell down like soybeans, which frightened it to death. This dimension is still so scary. This dimension is really scary because of Lao Ye's calmness at the end. I forgot how much pressure he put on us at the beginning. When I heard this pangolin bragging, I thought it was some kind of powerful person, but this is what happened. Unnamed, do you still want to control the dimension? I want to eat shit. It's very true. If you have such good luck, you will always overestimate yourself. Does anyone else remember that this is a prison? Prisons in other dimensions can be entered by anyone who wants to, and can be released by anyone who wants to. Indeed, but this doesn't look like a prison at all. I can barely understand it, but it's really dangerous. There were people who wanted to go to this dimension before they really didn't want to die. It doesn't matter if you don't want your life, it should be the simplest thing to not want your life. Why is this dimension still like this after so long? It hurts. It hurts too much. I won't go. I won't go out. You can go out alone. Although the pangolin has countless treasures protecting its body, after all, no matter how good the things are, they must be used by someone. In addition, the assimilation ability of this dragon dimension is so powerful that it can only be resisted by building a fortress in one place and spending countless wealth. It's okay to stay quiet, but when you get moving. No. The pangolin quickly retreated into the prison, and then looked at Yeshi from a distance, as well as the looming world and the Kunlun sacred tree behind him. You go alone, I won't go, but just take me with you before you leave. Just like you did to them, seal me directly, and then unlock my seal after leaving this dimension. I don't want to experience this kind of pain at all. The pangolin was completely ruined. Although Yeshi was trying his best to resist the power of dimensional assimilation, he still felt his head covered with black lines, and even a crow flew over his head. At this moment, I still want to sigh about something I already know. How terrifying is this dragon dimension? Has even Duobeo Boy been killed? Perhaps we have to ask Duobeo Tianjun to come. It seems that in all the places Yeshen goes to in the future, the risk value will have to be increased crazily, otherwise, if others are lucky, they will be finished. No matter what, there will always be people who want to die. I have long heard that there are anchors who follow Yeshen's path and want to go to the dragon dimension. I don't know if they give up their lives just for the sake of fame. Tomcat, you don't understand this. In other places where the little Poseidon goes, he can always go there if he works hard and hard, but in this dimension of dragons, no matter how hard he goes, he can get there. No matter how hard you try, you can't go there. Since you can't go there, what are you afraid of? Are you still going to explore the places that the little Poseidon has been to? Oh my God, is there such a mystery in this? Yeshi looked at the pangolin, who was unwilling to leave, and nodded after stabilizing his breath. Then whoosh! Fly towards the sky. Since the pangolins are not planning to come. Now he not only wants to see the place where the dimension can be controlled, but also wants to see the complete dragon snake, the sky-reaching dragon snake. Exploring the world, starting from the discovery of the white-bone dragon pond. Author, Wo Yi Pian Hai. Chapter 400. The more Yeshi flew into the sky, the stronger the force of assimilation worked harder to penetrate him. Fortunately, Yeshi was prepared in advance, so there was no consequence of being assimilated into a python. However, it was also very dangerous at times, and Yeshi almost started to reveal his trump card. He has a total of 1008 whole cards. If he starts to use them, Yeshi felt that he would be very nervous. As it goes higher and higher. Everyone was also surprised to find that it turns out that this dimension really has no sky or earth. At least it's all empty up there. It looks like nothing but nothingness, not even the starry sky, and it seems like there's not even darkness. There is only emptiness. Today I know that I am me, Master Deo, I have realized it. Go back to the mental hospital to see if there is a bed for you. I think there is no bed for you. Recently, more and more people and things are suffering from mental illness. It seems that there is still a bit of emptiness in Buddhism, which is the emptiness of formation, dwelling, and destruction. Just from watching the live broadcast, I understood many secrets of the scriptures that I didn't understand before. Brother, this is originally a Buddhist place. I suspect this is done on purpose. A person like me who is devoted to Taoism wants to be ordained and become a monk. Unexpectedly, there is only one real winner. Yashi also felt a kind of Buddhist intention. In particular, the sound of chanting sutras kept appearing in his ears and in front of his eyes, and it seemed that he had to be saved. When Yashi heard this, he just wanted to slap him in the face. However, because he is resisting the power of his own assimilation, he can't slap him right now. Yashi, who could hear it, was even more annoyed. It is indeed a Buddha. I feel like the Western heaven is about to appear in front of my eyes. What do these Buddhists think? What if someone wants to take away this dimension in the future, so do we have to turn this person into a Buddhist? My head is spinning after hearing this. Yashi just said this. Something unexpected happened. His head is really big. This was truly unimaginable, and the viewers watching the live broadcast were dumbfounded. Thank you God for your personal demonstration and telling us what it means to have trouble come from your mouth. This shouldn't be done. I am God, dream. This is because the closer you go up and closer to the dragon snake, the deeper the dream power it brings. Not only this kind of casual talk can become a reality, but even what you think in your mind can become a reality. Taoist priest wicked, in this case, what on earth do I, Mr. Kong, think about? Sometimes, it really has to be said that all the ids in the live broadcast room are indeed the same as their names, you know what I mean. I don't know how many netizens have been offended by one sentence, at. Yashi was speechless. He reached out and touched his swollen head, returning it to normal, and then used his dream authority to fight against the dream authority. As a result, this trick worked wonders. Those who watch the live broadcast want to see what's in Yashi's mind, don't think about it. Not only can't see anything, and the entire screen is filled with colorful bubbles, and these colorful bubbles are still spitting bubbles out. Many people frowned when they saw it. Then quickly type on the keyboard to send a barrage. This is what our Yeshen fantasizes about. What bubble machine? I admit, it's not mine. That's what I was thinking about. I thought, yes, Brother Ye is a god after all and has become an immortal, so he is naturally different from mortals like us. Is the thing in your mind what I imagined? If so, can you explain it in detail? Don't get me wrong, I have a friend. Yashi also saw these colorful bubbles. Most of the bubbles emanated from his body, and some other bubbles floated down from the sky. Like some sudden chemical reaction. After Yashi used his dream power, the whole world turned upside down in an instant. Those Buddhist voices and the Western heaven no longer appeared in front of him, but instead there were countless changing things. These things change thousands of times every second. The first and last manifestations were the colorful bubbles in front of Yashi. Brother, when will you clean up these bubbles? We can no longer see clearly what the live broadcast is about. Didn't you realize that these bubbles came out of Lao Ye's body? Isn't it a bad word to use the word vomit? How about spraying? Yashi looked at the colorful bubbles surrounding him and felt a very happy emotion from them. This emotion comes from far away. Fell into his heart. And that coordinate. Yashi looked up, but couldn't see anything. His current body is still in the dimension. In the dimension, he can only locate the dimensions that he does not pass through, but more precise coordinates cannot be located. Therefore, Yashi also had some doubts. Is it another dreamy authority calling him? But, it should be. When Yashi was thinking in his mind, he was surrounded by colorful bubbles, but soon, his expression became very strange. Maybe it's an illusion? Forget it, it's most likely not an illusion. Originally, Yashi planned to go to Zishanling Mountain to see if he could get this dream power. However, it can be expected that this matter is very dangerous. So he planned to be cautious. But what he never expected was that he planned to get this fantasy authority after becoming stronger, but this fantasy authority could not wait to rush to him. Yashi seemed to sense that a group of colorful bubbles were rushing towards him. And there was a piece of yellow paper on the group of colorful bubbles, on which were written the words Amitba. Yashi. This is really a pleasant surprise. Tongzi, don't you think so? Ding, this dream authority has a seal imposed by a Buddhist power. Once the host combines the two powers into one, it will be tracked by it. Yashi opened his mouth, and many colorful bubbles came out of his mouth. Listening to the system's warning, he nodded, not caring much. I should be able to take off this seal. Look, if you take it off and stick it on Taish's body, how about it? The system was silent for a long time, and then it made its own sound. Ding, 6. Ding, it is indeed possible, but the host's breath will still be captured. Yashi waved his hand, pushed the colorful bubbles aside, and let the live broadcast room return to normal. It doesn't matter, if you can't find me or go to Taishu. Ding, host, you are really too wise, this is the first time I have seen such a wise life, it is indeed as you said.